lean into frame. Hello everyone, it is time for the weekly video. I don't have too much to show this week in terms of shopping. I really need to balance things out for the year. Obviously, times are hard, cost of living crisis. I've racked up enough on my credit card, so let's see how long I can resist. I did have Royal Warriors arrive today, a film with Michelle Yeoh in a main role, so that should be good whenever I get round to it. I did over the weekend receive the last of the volume of compendium of The Walking Dead. I'm looking forward to making my way through that. It's just been tough though. It's been busy at work. It's been difficult to just keep going, and you know, everything's like designed to grind us down, especially in January. And this time in January, towards the end of the month, I think people have, you know, if they've been lucky enough to have vouchers or money for Christmas, they've spent those. They start worrying at the end of the month. February is a short month, so all the bills come around again quite quickly, and then into March, and it goes on and on. And it's not easy. So I'm just once again reminding people to, if you like your movies, you like your TV, or you know, one or the other, you know, don't be afraid to cut out any streaming services that are costing you too much, and look at the free options available to you, which includes iPlayer, which has a decent selection of films on there now and again as well. I know it's not really free, you pay for your TV license, but you get a ton of content with the BBC. Although I have my issues with the BBC. I've always thought a TV license is the equivalent of someone bringing a sofa into your home and then saying, right, that's £120. So that's nice, but I didn't order that. Yeah, but it's in your house, it's £120. Can you take it away? No, £120. That, to me, is kind of what the BBC license is like. I didn't have a BBC license for a few years, and people would jump on me for it, and I was like, I don't watch BBC TV. I can't remember if you could watch iPlayer without a license then, as long as it wasn't live TV, but there was something. I think they've since closed that loophole. But anyway, I didn't watch BBC. I've shown a lot of my box sets that I have. I buy the things that I like, whether it's Life on Earth, whether it's Frozen Planet, Blue Planet. You know, I like Doctor Who. I bought a few Doctor Who sets. I watched Doctor Who. But you know, for me, on my own, I didn't view it as something with enough to warrant that price. But there we go. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, All 4 is great for comedy box sets, and there are, I think, a few films popping up there. I heard someone say that Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes is on, I think, All 4 at the moment. And when I say I heard someone say that, I was listening to the Third Window Films podcast, which is also an excellent podcast, almost as good as our own. And I forget his name, I think it's Adam, who runs Third Window Films, had mentioned that Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes is on All 4 at the moment. So that's there. YouTube has plenty. Check Internet Archive for things to view there, especially if you're looking for classics, particularly things that were of copyright due to either age or whatever territories they were released from. So those are all good. And then, it's still really cold outside. I hope you're managing to stay warm and, you know, not having to try too much to cut down gas and electric. I think Martin Lewis always gives the advice of heat the person, not the room or the house. Do what you can that way. And if you are trying to snuggle in at night and just, you know, stay warm, stay cozy, you could do worse than reading some books as well about movies. Now, I have these, I want to show you them. I haven't read them yet, so if anyone has a recommendation from these aren't sort of 100% recommendations. These are making you aware of some books that I've picked up over the years and thought they look really good, or I've heard that they are well written, so I've bought them thinking I'll get to them one day. And who knows when that day will come. First off, Mae West. It Ain't No Sin. That's got to be a good read, I think. On the back it says, the wit and wisdom of Mae West. Things I'll never do. Take another woman's man. Not intentionally, that is. Even though all's fair in love and war, and it ain't no sin. Try to be anything but myself at all times, publicly and privately, except on the stage or screen, for that's where acting belongs. Cook, bake, sew, wash dishes, peel potatoes, eat onions, or bite my nails. Play mother parts, sad parts, dumb parts, or a virtuous wife, betrayed or otherwise. I pity weak women, good or bad, but I can't like them. A woman should be strong, either in her goodness or badness. That's a hell of a back cover quote, isn't it? I've seen Mae West in one or two things so far, and I've always been impressed, so I will look forward to reading this one day. And then there's been a lot of controversy, obviously, recently about Blonde. So if any Marilyn Monroe fans want to let me know if this is any good, just the biography by Donald Spottle. I am as interested in Marilyn Monroe as many film fans are. I think like she is a movie icon that stands up to repeated and long-lasting scrutiny. I think absolutely moulded to be the bombshell actress that she was. And the more I learn about Marilyn Monroe's life story and the way her personal life intertwined and interrupted at times her career, the more I want to learn more, and the more I realise that my image of her, from the image that has permeated popular culture over the decades, is almost kind of scratching the surface. And she's fascinating to look deeper into and see how, you know, her life. It feels like at times her life gave her everything that she wanted, and at other times gave her nothing that she wanted. That's really simplifying it, but yeah, I look forward to that. But Marilyn Monroe fans, please let me know, because obviously I've not watched Blonde yet. I know that is not based on truth. I think it's the right phrase might be it's based on speculative fiction, based on her life. But I'm still interested to watch that because I'm a big fan of Anna de Armas. I think it could be a great performance from her. Now, this is a hell of a woman as well. Kate. Kate Hepburn. It's a biography all about her. And I think Katharine Hepburn was quite the most wonderful troublemaker who would probably cause a lot of men of the time to almost pitch a fit, would be the phrase. I've always been a big fan of Katharine Hepburn. I've not seen enough of her films. Everything I see her in, I love her. She's brilliant. She always felt to me in a way similar to, funnily enough, to people like Mae West and Marlene Dietrich, and just always had that core of strength and the ability to one-up the men around her, even though she may have had slightly different roles compared to the other two women that I've mentioned. I think she's a hell of an actress, hell of a woman, hell of a role model for many. I hope to find out more when I get to that biography at some point. And last but not least, he's a master chef. He's wonderful with Muppets. He is just a suave delight. It is, of course, Vincent Price. And this book is written by his daughter, Victoria Price. And again, Vincent Price is someone who, the more I hear about him, and a lot of these tales, or a lot of the conversation about these older stars, actually, for me, came from listening to the Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal podcast, which Gilbert Gottfried has passed away. The podcast sort of repeats old episodes every now and again at the moment. I still have a massive backlog to work through. There are tales of old Hollywood. There are repeated tales of old stars, and it sets you on a path. You hear these tales, you enjoy them. You can find clips on YouTube. You can find interviews with people who were good at playing the PR game, people who were good at playing up their own persona, as in there are one or two very funny interviews you can find with Charles Grodin. That just reminds you of how funny and good he is. And Vincent Price, if ever you seek out interview clips with Vincent Price, he's just wonderful. It's no surprise to horror fans who've loved him over the years, but he remains a wonderful figure to watch, to listen to, and I hope to learn a fair bit from that book. So if you have any recommendations on what should be prioritised from that selection, let me know. And yes, importantly, if there's anything majorly good or bad, particularly about the Marilyn biography, that I'd really like to know, because I was unaware of the furor around Blonde until the film came from the book, and I've never read the book, guys, so I still don't know if that's quite a faithful adaptation or whether it was made worse in translating from page to screen. That's it. I think I've gone on a minimal amount of tangents this week. As I say, I'm very much aware of people just having to be careful, having to be extra careful at this time of year, having to be extra careful at this time of year in this particular year, when it seems like everything is just falling apart. So sometimes I am a little bit bad with my own finances and situation, but I know that I'm lucky enough to have made mistakes, be able to afford those mistakes, and hopefully correct those mistakes. But so many people feeling the pinch, so many people feeling more than the pinch, which is why before Christmas, myself, I think Vicky did as well, we made donations to the Trussell Trust for the food banks. And if you can, please continue to help and maybe give a little, if there are buy one get one free offers in your store for stuff that you only need half the amount, or 3 for 2. You can put things in a food bank, whether it is food or toiletry products or anything that can help others. Also, if you have a large pile of books and there are things in there that you're never going to read again, if you can either give those to charity shops or a little local lending library. Same goes for movies. All these things will help other people sometimes to just feel a little bit normal in a day when nothing else has been going their way. It's a book that you've read a few times and no longer need, or it's a film that you just had sitting there for ages and pretty much forgot you had, and for somebody else that might be quite a little treat. So that'd be nice. That's all. No pressure, but if you can, we're being left to it. So I really hope whenever the opportunity arises that we help one another as much as we can. That's it. That's a cheery way to end. I don't think I have anything due in the post this week. I think next week I might actually address some of the conversation that we have in the upcoming special, because we are ending Japanuary with a few films by Sean Sono, and there are maybe a few notes to add on to that.